All right. I think we have enough people. So thank you everyone for coming to our second ZI Community Expert Exchange on mastering Zoom Info Sales, advanced features, and integrations. Really excited about this one. I'm Chris Detzel, and I'm the Senior Community Manager here at Zoom Info, and we have expert Patrick Dempsey. He's a lead consultant, solutions consultant here at ZI. Welcome, Patrick.
Great to meet everyone. Excited to show you our Copilot experience today.
Yeah, it should be fun. Next slide. So I'm pushing in a link, if you haven't already got it, to our modern go-to-market Slack community. Please click that if you haven't yet, and you can get into Slack. Just push that in. I'll send you a message here in a minute, Melissa. And then we want you to ask questions on the ZI product Copilot area. So as we go on, we'll definitely ask questions during the session. The recording in the slides is obviously being recorded, and we'll push that into our modern go-to-market Slack community as well, probably in the next day or so. So next slide. Looks like people aren't getting the what? You're right, everyone. Here it is right here. So in a couple of weeks, we do on 12/5, we have another deep dive into intent data for sales. So if you haven't signed up for that particular webinar, we have that coming up. I'm also trying to schedule another one here in mid-December as well. So I think that's all my slides, Patrick, and I'll make sure, I think everybody has the link now. So I'm going to let you go for it.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'll do my intro in just a moment, but I want to start off with the safe harbor statement. Basically what this means is there'll be some forward-looking statements, some shoulds, will, could, seeks, predicts, intends to. Anything today, don't use that to make any kind of investment strategy, only anything that is publicly available. All right, so on to our agenda. We'll start off, I'll introduce myself, some of my background, then we're going to do that overview of our ZoomInfo Copilot AI tool. I'm going to start us off with the data foundation, just to get everyone on the same page with what we're basing this AI on, a little bit on security, why we actually built this tool, and then where for the demo where this can actually be accessed and the use cases that we'll be able to make use of there. So without much further ado, just want to introduce myself. My name's Patrick. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. I've been with ZoomInfo for almost 5 years now. I started as a customer success manager for mid-market VIP accounts, ensuring our customers maximize their ROI. After my first year, I transitioned to solutions consulting, focusing on enterprise and strategic accounts. Before joining ZoomInfo, I managed an inside sales and demand generation team for an IT solutions provider. It was there that I discovered how invaluable ZoomInfo was to everything we did for our go-to-market strategy. And that experience really shaped my belief in the power of ZoomInfo, but it's really why I actually came to work here. I had a lot of faith in the platform. So in my current role, I partner with account managers to showcase our suite of sales and marketing tools. While Copilot is really one of my key focuses, we also offer an ABM solution, ZoomInfo Marketing, a conversation intelligence tool, Chorus, as well as any kind of data or data services you might need, deduplication for your CRM systems, things like that, keeping everything up to date and clean, enriching. And all these tools integrate seamlessly with Copilot acting as a central hub. So I'm really excited to be able to show you how these solutions can work together to drive success for your business, like we've been able to do for so many of our other customers so far. But before we get started, let's start by setting the stage. This will be really quick, but it's important to understand the context of what we're about to dive into. ZoomInfo is the global leader in data intelligence, trusted by over 35,000 customers, from the smallest startups like I was working at before to the largest enterprises out there. We partner with the most sophisticated go-to-market organizations in the world and have been doing so for years. We invest very heavily in our platform, as you can see here, with over $250 million spent annually going into R&D, data, AI, and product development. And then to support this, we actually have been collaborating with leading vendors like Anthropic, Meta's Llama AI, and OpenAI. And our commitment to innovation is backed by patents, PhDs, and expert data researchers. And why is this important? Because when it comes to AI, data quality is everything. Think of it like fueling a car. If you put the wrong gas in, the engine won't perform. The other analogy I like is if you put garbage in, it's going to be shiny garbage that comes out with AI. If you want to put good data in so that you can have even shinier, better data come out. So the same goes for AI models. Without the right data, they won't deliver the insights your teams actually need. From a security perspective, we take this just as seriously. We're proud to be Trustee Responsible AI certified, which is the first certification of its kind. This ensures we uphold rigorous security and ethical standards in AI development. There's probably a few questions you or one of your managers might ask. Do we use customer data to train our AI models, for example? Full stop, no, we do not. What AI models do we use? As I mentioned before, we use private versions of OpenAI, Meta's Llama AI, and Anthropic, along with our own proprietary models. Are these models public or private? They are exclusively private, ensuring your data stays secure and confidential. All right, so now that we've covered that foundation, let's shift gears into the details of how we can help your team succeed. Really why we built Copilot. So, this is an example of a, modern go-to-market approach. This is how, ZoomInfo can help your team get to meet its goals. But what we're also going to be discussing today is how we can take AI and actually effectively run all of this so that your team no longer needs to actually go in and discover and unlock their own insights. They really can start to really be doing the engage and learn section. And so much time can be taken up by this hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours you might spend in the platform, just getting to the point of who you can contact, who you should be reaching out to, who has the best signals, things like that. What we're really looking to do is eliminate that and just give you the chance to engage and win faster. So this is a slide I actually stole from a colleague from our last presentation, but I think it fits really well. Here's the problem that we saw in the solution that we set out to create with using AI is that I think many go-to-market professionals probably feel like they're operating out of a command center, which is what this slide really alludes to, juggling multiple tools, data sources. You've got to go into your CRM for one thing, spreadsheets for another, Slack, email, and more, all while trying to manage that outreach, preparing notes, and trying to keep everything consolidated as one. And that's what Copilot AI does, is consolidate that noise. It's going to integrate those just disparate data sources to provide a single clear view of what what actually matters most. We're going to be helping you unlock those insights, driving action, winning faster with real-time signals, breaking down the data silos as well, so that it's easier for you to actually get in there. And then we're also going to have tailored intelligence for every one of your interactions. We're going to be able to bring all of these signals that we have to bear for your actual team to make use of through the AI emailing, through the next steps that we're going to recommend, through our AI Copilot chat that's also involved and built out in this as well. And so what this really means for your team is that you're going to spend more time selling and less time searching for information. A very popular stat out there that resonates with me is that 66% of a seller's day is typically spent in that admin work, not actually selling. So again, we're looking to eliminate a huge chunk of that time so that they're actually at the point where they can do that outreach, they can make those calls, those emails, and follow up and actually make those deals. And that's really the power of Copilot AI, is simplifying the complex, enabling smarter decisions, and helping your team focus on what they do best, which is building relationships and closing deals, not having to search through our tool to find the correct people to actually reach out to. So, and that is going to take us to the end of the slides here. I'm actually going to pop in and get the presentation going, but did want to see if there are any questions, Chris, that might have come up in the meantime during that in the Slack channel. I can also take a look over there as well, but want to make sure we touch on any of those before we dive in here.
Yeah, no questions as of yet. Just as a reminder, if you go to the modern go-to-market community Slack, the link that I put in there, and ask your questions in the ZI product Copilot, I'll push that in there again, but let's get to the demo, the fun stuff.
All right, perfect. All right, so today we're going to dive into strategies and tools that can help your team supercharge the go-to-market efforts. We have this nice comprehensive agenda that we have lined up, and here's what we're going to be exploring. First, we're going to be leveraging signals for timely outreach. Second, we'll be optimizing your workflow for maximum efficiency. We'll be able to show seamless integrations, setup strategies that are going to be involved here, how you'll be able to identify and target key accounts, including some white space opportunity as well. And then building and utilizing buying group intelligence, harnessing the power of our AI for email outreach. And then finally, maximizing the productivity with our Chrome extension. And so by the end of the session, what I hope we'll have accomplished is that you'll have actionable strategies and tools to help your team be more effective and efficient in their day-to-day, actually using ZoomInfo and Copilot. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and pop in here. So everything that we've been talking about with the AI and optimizing and getting and re-strategizing and making your sellers' lives easier is really all about starting with the first thing that I mentioned there, which is leveraging signals for timely outreach. So again, ZoomInfo, as it was, you would have to go into our tool, you would have to do intent searches, you'd have to do website searches, technographics, the tons and tons of filters and modules that we have gave you the ability to find the best companies to go after. But again, you had to go in and you had to use the tool. You had to spend time doing that. You had to mow the lawn, so to speak. In this case, what I pulled up here is part of my weekly target accounts digest. And I'll show you how this all gets set up in the background. But what the end result is that as an individual user, I'm going to get a daily and weekly digest via email. I'm also going to get it on our homepage within ZoomInfo itself, but it's going to alert me to the companies that are in my target account set that have any of the signals that we can bring to bear from ZoomInfo. And just to give you a little reminder of what that looks like, I want to pull this slide back up and have this ready so we can reference this. Anything that falls under any of these types of signals that we have, and this is continuing to expand all the time, this is all going to be collated together so that you're not having to put together these searches. So me as an individual user, even if I was very good at using ZoomInfo, instead of having to log in and actually run those searches each day, instead I'm just logging in, getting this email telling me, hey, Patrick, of the accounts that you own, here are the top 12 that we found based on all the signals that are coming through with competitive risk, product launches, again, anything that we have on this particular set of signals. Same is going to hold true for my actual homepage when I log into the ZoomInfo platform. It's going to give me the ability to look at and see of the accounts that I have targeted, which again, I'm going to show you what this looks like for the admin setup, how this all gets put together for your users so they can do as little as possible, so they can sell as much as possible, is really what we're doing. But again, my experience is that I get to come in and say, hey, I should be prioritizing these 5 target accounts of my customers today. And here are the reasons why. As you can see here, for example, FedEx has been researching intent topics around sales intelligence and sales operations. Again, I'll show you what this looks like in the background from the admin portal, how to configure this for your team. Just again, use your imagination. These are going to be the intent topics that are relevant for your use case. Obviously, our demo environment set up for ZoomInfo use case. But what you're also seeing here is actual intent topic clusters, saying that it's not just a sales intelligence topic. It's these 3 that we've actually grouped together, meaning that there's more meaning for us. And again, we can reach out to our buying group right here. I'll give you more background on that buying group in a moment. We also have evidence recently of an earnings call where they referenced doubling the size of one of their sales teams. We've also seen within the buying group, which we can help you build out with AI and monitor, as you can see, is that Christy has been added to that buying group. And now might be a good time to reach out. So here are actually the suggested next steps as well, based on those signals that we've been given. We can update that account in CRM, maybe add that new individual to our CRM, or we can actually reach out and introduce ourselves to Christy here. And this is actually going to pull up our AI generated emails and give you the ability to go in and use the context that we have here for those signals. And again, I'm just going to hop back to the slide. It's going to be the context of any of these signals that we can bring to bear here, and always adding more. But what that gives us the ability to do is go in and quickly have an email already ready to go. For example, This is going to be set to congratulate Christy on her promotion, but we can also add an additional context if we like. I'm going to ask it to shorten it a little as well, because the shorter the email, the better, in my opinion. But I'd like to add in the context about their earnings report, for example. We can draft that again. It's going to bring in that context of that information. And then we can really go in and chat and tell Copilot what we would like the email to do, rewrite it, change the tone, shorten. We can even add in our own additional context. Hey, we met at a trade show last year. Hopes they're doing well, for example. So that's going to be able to give us the ability to do that first step to actually reach out. And we can actually add follow-up steps as well to get those second step emails out to go out as well. So we can time those. This will also integrate with Outreach. And then we also have integration with SalesLoft as well, where you can actually click to send that here. Right now, it's going to be configured to be connected to either your Gmail or your Office 365. So it would open in that email app. But if you were connected and integrated with Outreach or SalesLoft, you would have that ability to put it directly into the tool with our AI emailing there. And then with Outreach, you do have the ability as well to actually put it into a next step sequence, which is pretty exciting. So that's going to be the ability for us to just reach out to one individual, which is one of the individuals recommended to us because they're part of our buying group. But we also have the ability to go in and actually reach out to the entirety of the buying group that we have there. And again, I'm going to show you what this looks like in a moment. In the admin background, I'm going to show you everything that the admin does. And it's very quick and easy, to be honest. Maybe 2 30-minute calls with our integrations team, if that. But essentially getting everything configured so that, again, I, as the end user, am not having to leave this homepage, not having to do too many steps, and having the ability to go in and say, hey, I want to reach out to these 8 or 9 individuals. And I can do the same thing that we just did with Christy here, where it's actually going to pull up the information of the context of the actual account. What's really exciting here too is that even if I select all of the same information, select the same product offering that we would like to offer here, it's going to be bespoke to each individual. It is going to be different copy, going to be similar end goal, but it's not going to be the same copy over and over again, which can often be caught in spam filters, things like that, to actually get that information to go through. And again, you can also customize this as you go through. If you'd like to add in the earnings context for Scott versus Gina, you'd like to add a different context or sell a different product. These offerings, we can also help you configure with AI so that you can actually, your end users can go and sell immediately off of this homepage. So rather than having to go in and maybe use intent, use tracker, use websites, do advanced search, we're only living here either on the email that we received on a daily or weekly basis, or we're going to be looking in on our actual homepage here for those alerts. That's going to be how your team can quickly, easily be able to reach out, be as relevant as possible, and also be reaching out to the correct people. But what I want to do now is take a little bit of a step back and pop into the admin portal to show you how we've configured it so that we know who to recommend in the buying group, what intent topics we should be selecting, and really just everything that's going to be put together so that, again, myself as an end user can do as little as possible in ZoomInfo and really just take action as much as possible off of ZoomInfo. And again, try and maybe flip that 66% time spent in just admin and not selling, and maybe flip that on its head where you're actually spending 33% of your day in admin and 66% of your day in selling. We can only hope.
We did talk about that earlier, Patrick, just you and me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really is the crux of this tool. It's like our leadership, everyone at the company recognize that we have the best data. We even have the best tool for you to go in the interface with to pull the data out of, but that kind of doesn't matter because you still have to go use it. The analogy I use a lot with our customers as I get on calls is ZoomInfo is the best gold mine. There's really no way you can argue against that, just with the amount of data and the quality of data that we're able to pull through and the signals. But we still used to teach our customers, be like, hey, get your hard hat, get your pickaxe, and you got to go into the gold mine and you got to dig for some of that gold. And it's still going to be the best strategy because, again, we've got the best gold and we know where it is. But now we've really turned it around into with going into the admin, tell us what you're going to be looking for more specifically. And using AI, we're going to be essentially wheeling the dirt out of the mine for you to start to go through, and it's going to be a lot less work. We're going to help to be able to configure all of that information. And the way that we do that is first, we're going to start off by actually configuring target accounts. We're going to be able to connect with your CRM, either right now Salesforce or HubSpot. We will hopefully very soon have some Dynamics integration as well. And keep me honest on that product in the background if when that might be coming down the line. But we can also go in and actually upload lists via CSV. And what this helps do is create that universe. Hey, who are our account managers? Who are our team, our salespeople actually going after? So that when I go into this experience here, I don't have to do any work for it to already know who my target accounts are. Maybe I'm a strategic rep and I only have 10, 20 accounts. So that of my 10 accounts, it can tell me who I should be reaching out to. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do to go in and match that information. What's really exciting here as well is that we can also use a lot of your Salesforce rules to actually match that information. Additionally, to connect with your CRM, or you can also do this via CSV. We're going to take your one loss data, get that uploaded in as well. And what that's going to give us the ability to do is create an account fit score or an ideal customer profile. As you can see, we're going to categorize companies into great fit, moderate fit, and low fit. And we're going to have that all based on the over 200 data points that we have and the AI to actually extrapolate who might look like a good fit, who might be in market for you to actually reach out to. So that is also going to help inform everything that's going on for what we're pushing forward on this digest and on this email that the individuals get. Account AI is a really exciting thing. And this was shown on our last presentation, I believe last week with my colleague, Nick. I'll touch on this a little bit just because I think it bears looking at, but definitely make sure to check out that presentation for a lot more in depth for how to really chat with Copilot chat. But what this is going to give us the ability to do is actually create AI account summaries for any of those target accounts that we have in our platform, or that you have as target accounts we have in our platform. And as you can see here, it's going to take everything that we know about this account, for example, FedEx that I'm using today, and bring this all together for an AI generated summary. We're also going to be able to bring in the context of your CRM information, your opportunities, your contact information. Recently, we've had an update as well where you'll be able to bring in custom fields from Salesforce as well, so that you can actually bring in that context as well. For example, we bring in platform usage stats into this particular part of the report. So that can help us understand the health of an account, for example. And what that does is gives us the ability to take everything that we know and everything that we're able to connect, that including chorus transcripts, conversation intelligence transcript, the emails that are going through, all of that information is going to be put together into this very robust report. Quite a bit going on here, as you can see, but we'll also have the ability to, in a very chat GPT-esque experience, actually query out on this information. Catch me up on the last interaction we had, prepare me for a meeting I'm jumping on today, build me an account plan, for example, to actually build out what's going on and what next steps I should be doing. You can also ask this tool to help you draft emails, who you should be reaching out to based on your most recent interactions. Again, we did have the presentation last week, which covers this more in depth, so definitely check that out. But pretty powerful and pretty exciting tool to be able to use to actually go after this and work with this account. And this is incredibly valuable, obviously, for customers that you have interaction with, that you've been connecting with, but can also be very valuable for prospects as well. Maybe you haven't actually connected with those accounts. We can still build out all this data, all of this intel for you to make use of and query into for actually breaking into those accounts. So that's account AI there. The ZI script here, that's going to be going in and installing our website script so that if anyone is visiting your website, we're going to be able to get that first party intent. And not only that, you're also going to be able to go in and configure and decide which of your website pages are more valuable than the other. So if they're visiting your pricing page or your products page, that's going to be high intent for your website's visits versus maybe a page where they're a hiring page. That's going to be low priority for your sales team, maybe high priority for HR, but not for making deal. So that's going to be installed there. Intent, this is where you're going to go in and be able to choose from our just about 5,000 topics out of the box to go in and actually fit. So this is going to be based on web research, third-party intent that we're able to pull down. This is bears mentioning is that ZoomInfo has the most powerful intent engine in the world. We have the ability to look at over 90% of connected devices, over 1 billion web page views daily, and go and actually connect that back to a company, as well as connect that back to what they're researching. We can resolve what pages they're actually consuming, what they're staying on longer, so that we can actually give you that insight to say, these companies are conducting research outside of their norm. So these are companies that you should be prioritizing. And obviously, this is a very important part of those signals that are being used for Copilot, but intent is just one of many signals that will be pulled through, as we've mentioned here. And you're probably sick of me showing you this page. But within this, you're also able to go in, and I mentioned earlier, you can also create intent topic clusters. So say you have 25 topics, it doesn't just need to be the individual topics altogether. You can go in and say, hey, these 5 topics lean towards one of our products or offerings, and these other 3 or 4 grouped together lean towards a different product or offering, or just a different talk track, whatever that might be. So you can configure that as well. Again, helping enhance the intelligence that the end user is getting. For buying groups, we're actually going to go through and we're actually going to read and scan your website and actually pull down your products, your offerings, everything that you have there to see who you should be reaching out to, or who the AI thinks you should be reaching out to. And that's going to give us the ability to build out AI buying groups. Now, to show you what this looks like real quick, this is going to go through and pull this in. This is one of our AI IT decision makers, but you can also go in and create new personas within this. You can go in and modify, add different titles, things like that. What I recommend with customers is let the AI do 95% of the work, and then go in and you can modify to make it a perfect fit or a near perfect fit for your use case. Maybe you don't ever work with VP level. We only work with C level, for example. You can go in and modify these things, add different titles, so on and so forth, even create entirely different personas to go with that group. Those are then going to be made available to your organization, and you can make it an org default, or you can just have them available in a list. But that gives the ability, again, when I log in and I'm on this home page here, I don't need to go in and say, I don't need to do the research to figure out who this buying committee is or who this buying group is. This is going to be ready to go, and it's going to recommend and pull these people out for me. And then if I do want to switch over, for example, this is my default for C-suite, but maybe I'm doing security, or maybe I'm doing a healthcare buying group. For example, I can switch over and use those. The go-to-market alerts, that's pretty straightforward. This is actually how often you'll get those emails or those alerts. You can also get breaking account alerts via email or in app or Slack. And those signals will be based on people added to your buying group or moving from your buying group, or if you have website visitors. One really exciting thing we've added recently with that website visitors is that if you have the first party cookies of someone visiting, we can actually tell you that we can integrate with your information there and actually tell you on this Copilot homepage, hey, someone from your buying group, this individual, again, if you cookied them, because we have to stay compliant, actually was the one that did the visit. So you can know who to actually reach out to directly. And then finally in here is the offerings. This is another part where we're actually going to go in and our AI is going to scan your website and to try and build out your product offerings. And what that looks like, it's going to take the offering name, pain points, and the value proposition. And again, we can default that as the main product or product set that we want our team to go out and use, or you can build them out yourself as well to have these ready to go. Can edit them, add them. Your individual end users can also create these if you give them permissions. But this is going to give the ability, as I mentioned before, to very quickly and easily, again, I've now got my buying group. I want to email these individuals, but now I don't even have to think about what to say either, because I have the ability to go in and say, hey, for Scott, he's a CEO. So I want to talk about a particular offering we have. But maybe for Neil, because he's a CFO, I want to talk about how our product helps with finances, things like that. and the bottom line and making sure that they're selling more for that team. So that's going to give the ability to go in and change these here to actually make use of those when you're actually doing that outreach. And then there will be analytics as well for actually using Copilot. It's going to give the ability to show you that what target accounts your users, how many target accounts your users have, how many signals are happening within those accounts, and then how much they're actioning on those as well. So you can see if your team is actually, for example, we've had almost 400, but we've only reached out to 115, which could be relevant. It could be that your team has decided that these are the most relevant ones they want to reach out about to actually go through that information. And that actually bears speaking about that. You can also go through and say, hey, for example, I just spoke with Education First. I don't need to reach out to them. We're tight. I know Jeff. I know he just got promoted. He's my friend. I can dismiss that and say, I've already taken action. It's not my target account. Hopefully that's not the case. But you can also get these to dismiss these so they're not just showing up again and again, for example. And that is going to give the ability, again, for your team, instead of having to really go in and have to figure out how to use our tool, have to learn how to use our tool. And even if they're really good at using our tool, they still have to go in and spend the time to actually make use of it. So that is ZoomInfo Copilot from the too long didn't read version. Is take everything that you used to have to pull out of our tool, and we're actually going to just push it to you so that you can actually take action on it rather than having to do work to pull that information out. All right. So I'll pause for any kind of questions here. We have gone through most of what the actual demo itself looks like, but do you want to see, Chris, if we have any questions that have come up?
There was some in the chat, but one pretty much all answered. But I think for this group, is this an additional upgrade and charge to their existing license?
Yeah, great questions. Yes. So Copilot, you can really think of Copilot as like the next generation of our platform. A few years ago, for example, after the DiscoverOrg and ZoomInfo merger acquisition, we had the platform that you probably see today, our ZoomInfo Sales. This is the next step with that, and it is an upgrade there. I don't typically do the pricing talk and things like that, but it is something discussed with your account manager for that information. Right now, it typically is, it isn't, we don't have the ability to upgrade like individuals at a company. It would be a company-wide upgrade to the platform, for example.
Oh, yeah, you answered that because that was another question. Yeah, that's good. So there's one person that's like, they're super passionate about AI and, they were in ChatGPT and was beta tester and all this stuff. So a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah. And then I think if there aren't any additional questions, the last part that we could show to this all off together is really, again, like we want to meet you where you work. So we have an amazing Chrome extension, and really everything that you saw today, we're going to have the ability to go in and, for example, we can see that I'm just on FedEx because it's one of my target accounts. It's telling me now is a good time to reach out. It's going to show me those signals that we saw on the platform, but I can also go through and see everything, all the other details and information that we have, the activity of what we have actually done with these individuals, those actual signals, for example, telling me that it is a good time to reach out, all the account information. And then if I actually want to start taking action in here, finding who I should reach out to, we can actually go up and pull open our employees tab here and start to pull that information down, which will be built out with those buying groups, buying committees, for example. And then say we're on LinkedIn, maybe, again, using the example with FedEx, I want to be reaching out to Neil. Apologies, let me refresh that. I want to be reaching out to Neil so that I can get in contact with him. The Chrome extension is going to give the ability to make use of that as well and actually do that outreach. And it's like my LinkedIn is not cooperating, so I apologize. But for example, LinkedIn, whether you're using a freemium paid version, whatever it is, typically you're not going to actually get the actual contact information to do that outreach. And InMail is probably a bit not the most responsive form of communication. So this is going to give us the ability to go in and take action. Hey, I want to go after Neil. Looks like he's in my buying group. He's not in my CRM right now, so I should probably add him. Let's get an email out to Neil, and we're going to be able to use all of those great AI generated information, just like we saw within the platform. It's going to give me the context of everything that's happening within FedEx, for example. so that we can do just what we might have done within the platform, for example. And then we do have within Salesforce, everything that you saw with Copilot will be available within Salesforce, and then working to get that in Dynamics and maybe hopefully HubSpot as well. But you'll be able to use the Chrome extension in HubSpot as well to be able to make use of this information. Again, we want to meet you where you live, and we want to make sure that Copilot can really be that central hub to collate all that information, all those interactions that you have, all that intelligence that we can bring to bear and just make your sellers' lives easier. It's again, flip that statistic on its head where sellers are spending 66% of the day not selling. Maybe we can get them to spend 33% of the day not selling and doing that admin work, getting to the point of selling. Because you got to do that admin work when it comes down to it. But as little as possible and actually getting out to doing what they're good at, which is making deals and speaking with individuals and building relationships, that's where we want to put people rather than ask them to be in our tool and then go do that as well. All right. What do we think, Chris? Any other questions out there?
This quiet crowd today was a little surprised.
Yeah.
Will the recording be in channel? Yes, that's exactly where it'll be, Mark. So we'll make sure to get that out hopefully tomorrow or Friday at the latest.
Yeah, I guess the thing again that I really have been trying to reiterate with customers, with our prospects, things like that, is that everything that's great about ZoomInfo, you still had to go in and use. You still had to, like I said, you still had to go into the mine with your hard hat. You had to do some digging. You had to go into the intent section and the website section and pull some gold out of there and put that together. Now we're really putting it together for you so you don't need to go into the mine. It's really about giving you as much time back and making sure that you, quite frankly, use our tool. Don't have to use our tool. You get to take action off of our tool. That's what we're really excited about. And definitely, I think the dynamic that everything's shifting towards, I speak with a lot of customers as well, where they're like, hey, what's the best way that we can enable our team to use the tool as is? Maybe they don't have Copilot yet. Hey, I want to teach them to use intent really well. I want to teach them to use websites really well. I want to teach them to do advanced searching like better than anyone else. Really, the best way to enable your team to get all of that information is to get Copilot and not make them learn how to pull it all out themselves. It's like the analogy, we were trying to teach a person to fish and they'd never go hungry the rest of their life. All right, now we've just taught the AI to fish. So you don't need to fish at all and you just get to eat. That's really what it is nowadays.
That's great. I love fishing. All right. Patrick, wow, that was really in depth and really enjoyed it. So thank you everyone for coming again. And please join the community if you haven't yet. Post questions there even after the fact. The recording will be there in the next day or two. And the last thing is when you leave Zoom, there will be a pop-up that asks for feedback. There's only 2 questions. We just want to know how we can get better and how we can get some of the topics that you want out, because that is important to us. So any last words, Patrick? Because that's pretty much all our questions.
Yeah, no, I think that's just a thing to leave everyone with is, again, we're just trying to make it so you don't have to use ZoomInfo anymore. You just get to get all the benefit from ZoomInfo. Work smarter, not harder is exactly what this tool is.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time, December 5th will be our next webinar. So we hope to see you there. And we also hope to see you on the Modern Go-to-Market community. Take care, everyone.